Relationship Revivalist podcast. My name is Jon, and I'm here with my amazing wife, Jess.
Hey, Jon, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I forgot to mention, you're also the co-host.
This is true. We're co-hosts together.
This is true.
And this kind of
ties
right into our topic today.
It really does. I was thinking, since we're going into this topic here, I was thinking today that just kind of, how you reflect on your relationship and how you go about life, and you just reflect and say, hey, my wife or my husband, depending on who's listening here, it has been this way, and I either like or I don't like how this has happened. Or I think a lot of that stems down to, are you treating your spouse the right way? And if you're not, this also can be, rabbit trailed down to whether or not we have been equally yoked, or if we are treating each other as equals, because, in the Word of God, it says that we were created equally. Mm-hmm. So I think, Jess, you have a story, don't you?
I know a story. I always have a story. So Jon was talking about, we have been talking about being equally yoked and what that means to us. And today's topic about equality in a relationship, in marriage, ties in beautifully with being equally yoked, with the emphasis on equal. Yes. Right? And like Jon said, in the Bible, it says, like, in the spirit, we are equal. Mm-hmm. And we have, differences physically, which is, biology. So we can,
different traits.
And right, different traits and maybe different mentalities and mindsets even. But even mindsets, there's not like one way that women think and one way that men think. A lot, there are women who are great at math and men who are great at art. And, so it's not, one role does this, one role does that. And a lot of times, traditionally, we've kind of been pushed into that, right?
Yeah, I used to think that it was ludicrous to have an analytical woman, because I thought men were the thinkers,
But surprise, surprise, you married one.
Exactly. How deceived can we be, if we're not informed on what our decision, what we believe in? We have to go and get informed, and that's what our belief is. And, we can always change so that we can reflect our beliefs on people that, our beliefs are always true, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that was perfectly fine. But with being equally yoked, we just really wanted to talk to you today about being equal in your relationship. And that a lot of that has to do with respecting each other. Both men and women really desire respect from their spouse. Mm-hmm. And a marriage goes so much better if you have that mutual respect and admiration for each other. I just absolutely love and adore Jon. I, respect what he says, and I really take it to heart. But you know what? I feel the very same from him. I feel that love and admiration and respect from him, and it's a mutual thing. And that's one reason why our marriage works so well. Yeah. That's one reason why we're happy together. Mm-hmm. Right. And what did you want to say?
Well, I was thinking, why is it that sometimes you have a relationship, husband and wife, why would it be that one of the spouses would not necessarily feel or act like they're equals? I mean, I think if you don't act like you're an equal, perhaps it's a mindset, perhaps it's insecurity, that they don't want to step into who they really are. If you're one of these people, I encourage you to really start reading the Word of God, and just, like Jess and I, what we do every morning that we can, mostly during the weekends. We should do it more, and we should probably do it in the evening as well. But what we do is we will sit down and we'll relax, and then we say our I am statements. And basically what that is we're just repeating out loud who we really are. And that lets our spirit hear it. That lets our whole being know who we are. In the Word it says God, when He speaks His word, it does not come back to Him void. And because of that, we are also created in his image. So guess what? The words we speak do not come back void. So if you say if you are prosperous, or you say that you are a loving wife or a loving husband, you are going to send that out into the universe. You know, the universe is one of those terms that everyone likes to use these days. God is the creator of the universe. And so when we send our voice out, our vibration, you'll find that that's going to come back to you, whether you realize it or not. And sometimes it comes back to you so subtly that you don't realize it's happened. And, you know, I just wanted to point that out, that being equally yoked and having equality is actually something God made us for.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was thinking about, you know, how traditionally, a lot of times it was expected that maybe the man would take on certain roles, the woman would take on certain roles, like maybe, the man, you know, does the finances in the home and takes care of that, and takes care of the yard and the cars and whatever. Well, and then the woman, you know, maybe does the cooking and the laundry and the, you know, the cleaning inside and all that. But really, what's the best thing to do is to play to your strengths. You know, we know people who tried to do the traditional way, but their strengths didn't really play to the traditional roles. And so when they actually looked and talked about what he's good at, what she's good at, and then did those tasks, what they're good at, it went so much better, so much smoother. And then they could go on a more prosperous track too in everything that they do, right? And so really it's important to kind of look at your marriage like a team. You should be team players, right? And so play to your strengths. Like what's your husband super good at? What are you super good at? Then do those tasks. And you know, there might be some things, like I know there's some things like Jon and I both don't really feel, you know, really up to the task in sometimes, and that's when then we take that task and we do it together. We sit together, do it together, hold hands, cry if we have to, to get it done, right?
And if you have the means, outsource it.
Oh, that's the best.
Outsourcing is a godsend. I mean, you can choose who does the best chores, for a lack of a better word, in your marriage, but realize that we are all human and we all have different strengths. And if you don't have those tasks that you are really good at, and you have the means to do it, by all means, outsource it and get someone that's a professional that does it for a living. And you are helping out everyone too by doing that.
Exactly.
You have to. It's also a mindset when you think about it, because when you are giving someone a job, you're helping the economy, and you're also helping out your stress level. Because what do you do when you're not able to do something very well? And just like Jess, you just said, you can hold hands together, and you can get all emotional about it. But when the end of the day happens, you're like, well, did I really do that the best I really possibly could? And so,
But if you don't have the means to outsource, or maybe it's just a task that you just can't outsource, then you might have to just, you know, come together as a team and get it done. But you know, like the point too is to play to your strengths.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something about me. I love folding laundry. I know it sounds weird to a lot of people, but I like.
Yes. Absolutely.
Apparently Jon doesn't. So, you know, it's just normal to see me folding laundry during the weekend or something. I mean, you know, at times and stuff. And he does other things that he's super good at. So the important thing is to know your team player and your teammates and play to your strengths and do it, you know, do it equally, you know, divvy up the jobs equally and, you know, all that. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, so I'll help fold laundry with her, but also at the same time, you know, she doesn't really have a lot of joy in detailing the cars, and I do.
Exactly. I mean, and I'll help Jon sometimes too, you know, but not every time, you know, just like he's not always helping me fold laundry either. So, but Jon really seems to enjoy detailing the car. It's kind of his way to detox a little bit from the stress of the week or whatever. Just like doing laundry is the same for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are kind of more traditional roles, but that's just how it works.
Yeah.
That I just happen to like laundry a lot. In fact, can I share a little bit more? I feel like I'm talking about myself here, but we were kind of entertaining the idea of like, Jon was so nice and said, what if, one day we have a house cleaner come in and once a week or whatever and clean the house. And I was like, yeah, that'd be okay, except for the laundry. That's mine.
Yeah. I mean, it's different for each couple. I mean,
Yeah,
some people
absolutely.
would love someone to come in and do their laundry. And,
Well, I'll probably get emails now. You can come fold my laundry too.
yeah. So, the biggest thing really is, like Jess was saying, put your tasks on a piece of paper and divvy them up to who does them the best, who's got the best strength in being able to get them accomplished the best way. And treat it equally. Treat it like, and I said earlier, being equally yoked also means that you are treating things equally, right?
Right.
And that you have to be equal in your relationship. That is how you have an amazing relationship. Is
And-
you have
yeah.
it you have equality.
Exactly.
We've had this equality issue for I don't know how many years in America, and maybe it's even gone
in the
prior to
world.
America.
Oh, yeah.
Before it was even found by Christopher Columbus. It could have been, I'm sure England and all of them have that. And I seem to be going down a rabbit trail. Let's get back on track here.
Let's stay on track. And one really cool byproduct of getting married that I didn't know was going to happen, and I'm so glad to know it, is when you are no longer just living by yourself and doing everything by yourself or having to outsource the things that you can't do. Having someone alongside you shoulder the weight of everyday life things is amazing. Marrying Jon is like one of the best things of my life. And as byproduct of that is he makes my life easier because he brings his strengths and his knowledge and his go get him attitude, can do attitude in to our marriage. And it just, I realized, he makes my life easier. And I really appreciate that about you, Jon.
You're welcome. And guys, I'll give you a little tip and a hint here. This is a small thing that you can do for your wife, but if you'll keep your socks not inside out but outside in for your wife, and you'll put them into the laundry and not lay them on the ground, that's just one small tip to help your wife love you even more. And if you're having trouble in your marriage, maybe that's something that you start to do now. Just play around with it, just test it out and see if there's a difference in your wife's demeanor, because she will actually inside be jumping for joy and just going, yes, he's doing it, and I don't have to say anything. That's another big thing. Do things before they have to ask you. Oh my word. Those are huge tips.
This is brilliant stuff, guys. Listen to this because I can attest to it being a woman. Wow. Just the mere fact of, if you're not the one doing the laundry every week and your wife is, the mere fact of picking up your laundry, putting it in the appropriate place where it's supposed to be, or, keeping those socks the right side out. It takes minutes off of your wife's time and workload, and she will be so appreciative. Now, it might take a little while of consistently doing it before she,
She starts noticing.
Might turn around and notice. She'll notice, though. She'll notice right away.
Yeah.
It might take a little bit. And I wanted to say one more thing because we were talking about equality here. I know traditionally a lot of times, like the church world has preached the man is the head of the home. The way that we view it is God is the head of our home, and then we're under God, both on an equal plane.
Yep.
And so with God and then the two of us managing our home, it goes so much better. And because God's the head of our home, if there's ever a time that we do not agree on something, Jon doesn't just go make the decision, right? We stop, we both pray, maybe together, maybe individually, until we get the same answer. Because if we're both truly listening to God, and he never disagrees with himself, he'll give us the same answer, then we'll have the same answer, and then we can move on together equally.
Yeah, and it'll be like, when you get that answer, you're like, whoa, how did that happen? and you'll know it's God, and you'll know that you can step into it. And sometimes he'll make it urgent that you need to go do this now. Or he'll say, okay, you've got some time, but this is the answer. And you both get that answer. And like, okay, so then you can plan. So that is something that you really should embrace, because I've seen a lot of relationships go that way, where the man or sometimes the woman will say, well, this is the way it's going to be. This is not the way it was built or designed. This is going to end up in trouble. So be mindful of that. We want to close this podcast out for the week. We are really excited to get into February. We have something special planned for you guys.
Oh, you're going to like it.
We'll just give you a hint. Valentine's Day.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say. But that's it for today. And don't forget, go to our blog at the Relationship Revivalists with an S at the end.com. And also, big time news. We have an ebook that we've written, and we want you to have it in your hands and to be able to read. You'll be able to glean a lot of information and help your relationship out. You can go to ebook.therelationshiprevivalists.com. Put your email in there and download that ebook that we created for you. It's amazing. We're really proud of it.
Inside, you'll find 7 simple secrets.
That's right.
Of a long-lasting relationship. It's good stuff.
So, yes, we will see you next week. Have an amazing weekend, and we will talk to you later.
See you later.